champ goes up against a quarterfinalist from last year's tournament, Scott Fishman. The National Heads Up Poker Championship continues from Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, right after this. Back from beautiful Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, the home of champions, the 2006 National Heads Up Poker Championship. Heads up. And there's a look at last year's champion, Phil Hellmuth, taking in the action at Caesars Poker Room. A spectator currently. Phil lost to Chip Reese in the first round this year. Good matchup continues at one of our outer tables. Scott Fishman taking on Huck Seed, who, as you can see, isn't as animated or loud as some of his fellow competitors, but underneath that quiet exterior lies a talent too good to overlook.
Huck Seed was one of the first young guns in poker. When he was 22 years old, he was taking the poker world by storm, winning millions, and back in a time when just that didn't happen.
Huck Seed is a former world champion of the World Series of Poker main event. He's also made the final table and was probably considered the toughest one-on-one no-limit player in the late 90s.
I actually have Huck Seed winning my bracket pool thing, and obviously I hope that doesn't come true.
Must be tough to play against the guy you bet on. Sort of like some of the Steelers betting on Seattle in the Super Bowl. Just kidding, Commissioner.
Blind still at 4 and 800, and Huck Seed on Ace-Jack calls.
Most players would have raised with that hand. That's what all the guys are talking about. Huck Seed has so many different sides to his game. He's just called with an Ace-Jack.
Flop is 10-Queen-Jack, all spades.
And it might cost him here. Huck has flopped a pair of jacks with an ace-kicker, and Scott Fishman has a straight flush draw. 9 of spades would give Scott Fishman a straight flush.
So Fishman bet, Huck called, and the turn pairs queens on the board.
Huck is still way in the lead here.
Fishman checks.
And Huck's going to be cautious. He checks also.
Rivers and Ace of Hearts, and now a better two-pair for Huck Seed.
But that ace means a king would have made it straight, and Scott's going to bet out here 1,600, just like he has a king. One thing's for sure, Huck is not going to raise here with aces up. He knows that Scott is capable of making this play, so he's probably just going to call here. That's what he does.
Seed calls and takes down the pot.
This is going to be a very interesting match. These are two very unorthodox players.
Let's check in with our Catherine Tappan now, who's standing by with last year's winner.
We're going to put you on the spot here. You have a bracket there in your hand. Who do you pick to win this tournament?
Wow. Well, you know, Chris Ferguson made it pretty deep last year, and I see as a lead in this match, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was there. I think that the TJ Cloutier, Daniel Negreanu match, I'm sure is going to be a featured match. That is going to be a lot of fun to watch. The other guy who I think is playing great poker right now is Huck Seed. The world doesn't know about Huck Seed. He sometimes forgets how great he is at poker. But, I mean, he was my toughest match last year.
Finally, Phil, your prediction for 2007.
2007, I'm gonna have to be on top of my game and come here and do something. I mean, I told myself anything but the first round. Come on, not the first round, man.
Phil, are you certain you're going to be invited back here for 2007?
Well, I was up for best no limit hold'em player in the world against 2 others this year, and I was up for best heads up player in the world against 2 others. I didn't win either one, but I mean, that means that someone out there, the poker players, think I'm the top 3 in the world at hold'em and the top 3 in the world at heads up play. So I imagine I'll be back for the next 20 years.
So that's a yes.
That's an emphatic yes, baby.
Thanks. We look forward to seeing you, Phil.
All right, Catherine.
Wasn't he also up for the Humility Award?
He is just such a modest man.
And Congeniality, Mr. Congeniality?
Blinds to 8 and 1,600 now. Queen Jack offsuit for Huck Seed. And he calls the 800. Fishman with 10 tray offsuit, and he checks. Flop is 9 King Jack.
Huck has flopped a pair of jacks. He would make a straight with a 10. But Queen came, it would make Huck 2 pair, but Scott would make a straight. Right now, Scott has nothing, and he checks.
Huck bets 2,500.
Looks like Scott's going to call here with basically no hand.
Fishman raises to 6,500.
Wow.
So Seed calls.
Not going to push Huck around.
And the turn's a 5 of clubs.
And Scott checks and aborts his mission, and Huck checks also.
Rivers at 3 of spades.
Now Scott's contemplating betting here. And it would be a great bet because it would be like he checked on 4th Street to try and induce a bet from Huck. And Huck, that's what Huck thinks. Huck threw his hand away immediately. Great bet from Scott. Great play. This is going to be a fascinating match.
More from Vegas right after this. Go all in at the new online store at NBCHeadsUp.com for the hottest line of poker merchandise, from men's and women's outerwear to Heads Up branded chips, cards, and tabletops that will enhance any poker night. And welcome back to the National Heads Up Poker Championship from Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Back to round 16 of play, and our first look at Amir Vahidi taking on Barry Greenstein, facing off in the spades bracket.
Everybody's curious as to who's going to win this match. They're also curious as to who has more hair on their backs.
Greenstein with suited jack deuce, raised to 2,400. Vahidi on 5-4 calls.
I'm betting on Barry. What do you think?
I'm going to defer to you on that. Flop is ace-9 jack.
Barry's flopped a pair of jacks. Amir has nothing. Barry bets. Then Amir raises to 8,000. Amir came to play. Barry has second pair here. There's an ace out there, and he calls.
We have seen a lot of aggressive play so far in this round of 16, and the turn is a 3 of diamonds. Gives Vahidi something, an inside straight draw.
Yes, but along with Barry's pair of jacks now, he has a flush draw.
Vahidi checked.
And Barry's not slowing down. He bets 10,000. And Amir might be contemplating. He check-raised Barry once. Is he thinking about doing it again? I don't think it'll work if he does it.
Vahidi took a shot before the turn, but not this time. He folds his hand. Barry Greenstein takes down the pot. Well, clearly in single elimination, every hand is important, but Amir Vahidi's experience has given him a unique perspective on playing cards.
What I've gone through in my life, this is not scary to me. This is fun. Okay, you get in there, you want to make some money, but no, I've gone through much worse and much more serious situations. I'm from Iran. When I turned 17 and a half, I guess, I went to college, and then the revolution took place, as you know. I went to army for 19 months in the Iran-Iraq war. So I went through that 19 months that made a much better person out of me. So I came down to America. That was after 2.5 years on the road, going to Pakistan jail, going to East Berlin jail. But anyway, not making it too political. It's just one of the beauty of this country. And regardless what it is, regardless how tough it is, you got to work hard. This is not a country for sitting back and be lazy. And basically, the result of my life here is raising 3 kids. 2 of them are in college. 1 of them is going to college this year. And I'm so proud of them. There you go. I mean, every time I feel bad, I look at it. I look at them. It makes me feel good and keep me going. That's what it is.
And it is back to work for Amir Vahidi in this match, and he's got his work cut out for him as Barry Greenstein has nearly a 3-2 chip advantage over him here in this round of 16 match.
And Barry Greenstein is very tough to play against when he has a lead.
Not to mention Greenstein is a returnee to the round of 16. Ace-Jack for Vahidi here, and he calls.
He's slow playing his ace-jack, and look at this. Barry's got ace-queen of clubs. Amir could get in trouble in this hand. He was hoping Barry